So they're teenage lesbians and they're forming a fight club, which then has this whole rebound. It's like this whole big community, and they're using it to woo women, and they're being funny and sad and angry and the whole scope of human emotions because they're teenagers. And in the end, they're really just bottoms. So, you finally come around to watching Bottoms. No, I get it. You're busy. It's been over a year since it was released, and that's fine. Anyway, so you've watched it, and if you haven't, go watch it. What are you doing here? Watch it, come back. Watch it, take a day to process how good it is, come back. Then watch this. But you're entertained, you're impressed. It's a good movie. But you can't help but feel like the only thing people are talking about is the fact that it's a good, funny movie that's written by women. This just in, women can be funny. I hate to be the one to break it to you, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not even that big of a comedy movie enjoyer, and I love the movie. I thought it was really good. But when I went to do my little post movie watch internet search, I was a little disappointed with the lack of kind of like deep cuts in like reviews or whatever of the movie. There was no 2 hour video essays. There was no deep cut article about like, oh, this underlying plot line that you missed, because it's a comedy and it's written by women. And we get a little intersection there. I was about to intersection there where it's a media that never gets taken seriously. Not to say that all medias need to get taken seriously, but I digress. And I will be completely honest, I love to overanalyze and obsess over any media ever, so that could just be me. But I'm going to stand on business. I'm going to stand on that, actually. And so I'm here to do some deep digging. This won't be 2 hours, I promise. But I want to talk about the existence of the Bottoms Fight Club as a community of practice, which probably, I know, sounds like gibberish to you. However, hold, calm down, deep breaths. I'm going to break it down. But first, I'm going to give you a summary, because maybe you're like me and you watched the movie 10 months ago, and you have to write a paper on it, and you like can't remember anything except for that it's the best movie you've ever seen in your whole life. And then you've got to go and rewatch it. So instead of having to rewatch it, I'm going to give you a summary. Okay, summary time. And if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my computer that I have written the summary on, because even though I watched the movie last night, it's like a cavern up there. There's so much information. So, two deluded teenage lesbians, PJ, who's played by Rachel Sennett, and Josie, who's played by Io Devery, are on a quest to get laid before they graduate high school. And the opportunity falls into their laps when they are questioned by the principal for attacking the lead football player, Jeff, who is played by Nicholas Galitzine, if that's how you pronounce it. They accidentally, well, on purpose, they hit him with their car. Right! And their excuse is that they are practicing for their self-defense club, their feminist self-defense club, which the principal's like, oh, what's that? You mean a fight club? And they're like, yes, sir, that's what we're saying. And so with his less than enthusiastic support, they start this fight club, which soon reveals itself to be just that, a fight club, and a blatant excuse to foster relationships with their hot cheerleader crushes. It's Isabel, who is played by Havana, I forget her last name, and then the other girl's name, who is played by Kaya Gerber. Both very good actors. The only problem being, as Emma Seligman, the director, points out, they have no idea what they're doing.
So for this scene, it felt important to me to really set up the stakes of what these girls are setting out to do, in that they have no idea what they're doing.
They have no idea what they're doing. They're just lesbians trying to get laid. They don't know how to start a fight club. And so therein lies the conflict. And there's your summary. All right, now for the real meat and bones of this video essay. You can put it up on the screen. Meat and bones. Is that how do you, no. meat and bones. I think for a lot of people, it's easy for them to watch a comedy film and only take it at surface level and not really dive in, like I was saying earlier, especially when it's a film made by a woman, because it's the perfect amalgamation of two groups that are not taken seriously, um, especially when it comes to like the creative sphere. And so that is, I think, sometimes what causes this like gap in deeper analysis, especially when it comes to films by women, books by women that tend to be funny, you know? I mean, Fleabag is a good example. Is it really comedic? Kind of, not really. But a lot of people, I feel like, were willing to be like, wow, this bitch is crazy. And that was like all they were going to think about the film or the show. But you got to delve deeper, guys. You got to delve deeper. So that's what I'm here for. So on my first watch through of the film, I'm gonna be honest, nothing stuck out to me. I went, "That's funny as fuck," and that was about it. But on my second watch through, I noticed that while the Fight Club starts as something stupid in a way to get laid, it ends as sort of a true support system for all of the women in the club, especially the queer women in the club, even if the founders, PJ and Josie, don't want to directly admit that. And you see this in scenes such as the club members helping Hazel out after she gets beaten up, even though at that point the club has like dramatically disbanded. They still rally together to help her. Or at the very end of the film, when PJ and Josie kind of call upon all of the other members to get them back together to kind of fight the final boss that is the rival football team. And even though they like put up a little bit of a fight and PJ and Josie have to apologize for some fucked up stuff that happened in the middle of the movie, they still pretty much without complaining jump up to help their fellow club mates. And that kind of pulled me into some more general research about support systems, especially support systems within smaller communities. I do think that the Fight Club only reached the level of like popularity or like social relevance in their high school that it did because of the lack of queer support overall at Rockbridge Falls. Like there was no club doing what their club was doing. And um as I kind of was saying, I do think it has to do with the setting of the film, which Rockbridge Falls is assumably a small Midwest town. The only settings that we really see are like people's houses or like a cul-de-sac, the county fair, and then their school. I don't know about you, if you live in a rural town, that's what my hometown is like. I was like, yo, small rural town sees small rural town. I see what's going on here. There's nothing to do. This is a tiny town. But if you need more concrete evidence than my gut feeling, Stella Rebecca models at car conventions in Chicago on the weekends, which is such rural Illinois or rural southern Wisconsin behavior. Going to Chicago on the weekends? Come on, come on. Ugh. Okay, sidebar that. But my research drew me into the idea of communities of practice. The concept was first proposed by cognitive anthropologist Jean Lathe and educational theorist Etienne Wegener. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, in their 1991 book, Situated Learning. But they actually weren't who I discovered the concept through. I discovered it through Ben Johnson, who's a lecturer at Newman University, Birmingham. And he used it specifically to analyze support systems within elementary schools in the UK, but I am going to use it to analyze my favorite Camp Gay movie. So, a COP, which is community of practice, and I'm going to shorten it to that because you will not catch me saying community of practice the whole time. A community of practice, or COP, is defined by Lathe and Wegener as a group of people who share a passion and gain experience through collaborative practice and resources. So, a textbook example of this would be gender sexuality alliances, or GSAs, or something of that sort. GSAs have been identified with LGBTQ plus youth as an ideal place to reach readily accessible community with community oriented benefits. And they may present LGBTQ youth with the opportunity to be members of a community that they otherwise would not have gotten the opportunity to do or jumped to do. And community also provides benefits such as emotional connection, social support, and sense of being and belonging. They really exist as a system of mutual aid, as one of the interviewees of a University of Minnesota study pointed out. So that understanding of what a COP is and how it can function for LGBTQ plus communities can kind of be dragged over to the idea of Bottoms, and it can kind of be assessed that Bottoms Fight Club operates as a community of practice. PJ and Josie's club, whether they meant it to or not, fills a gap within the community of Rockbridge Falls, in both branding the club as a women's self defense club and simply being run by two lesbians who are out and kind of social pariahs already. The club naturally cements itself as a COP for the women and lesbians, or women and LGBTQ plus people in general, of the community. And not only do they learn how to defend themselves, actually, jury's out on that one, but they also find friendship within the members of the club. As I said, COPs have two aspects: shared passion and group gained experience. So, the shared passion in this case is quite obvious. It's both self defense and women empowerment, something that they otherwise lack in the community. As it is pointed out several times within the film,
there's a serious lack of female solidarity at this school.
The gained experience through collaboration is comedically learning how to fight, with the first meeting starting with PJ convincing Josie to punch her in the face.
No, I'm just not gonna do it.
Come on, they want to see the punch.
They don't want to see it.
They want to see. Look at them. They want to see the punch.
Who am I gonna punch?
Punch me. Just punch me.
Punch you.
Yeah, come on.
I can punch you.
Yeah, I know how to take a punch. Something people would always say, PJ knows how to take a punch. Come on up.
The club sets itself up as gritty and shockingly violent, but rather than scaring away prospective club members, they rally around this common cause of defending themselves against the rival football team. From there, we see montages and demos of the club earning its name as a fight club.
Please, these gays, they're trying to murder me. Me capisce?
But the shared fighting experience is coupled with group bonding sessions and hallway friendships. Regardless of the less than enthusiastic response from PJ and Josie in these moments of emotional vulnerability, they cement the bond between the girls and help establish the Fight Club's role as a COP in the community. However accidental, the club served as an organic formation of a COP, with the queer women gathering due to their shared interest and bonding over their shared experiences as both women and sometimes LGBTQ plus individuals. It's the rural setting of the film that allowed the club to inadvertently become a support system for primarily queer women, as the town lacked support for both women and LGBTQ plus people. While Josie and PJ initially identified the club as an opportunity to shoot their shot with women and get laid, that ambition was dulled by the underlying desire for a community of fellow LGBTQ people and allies to provide support and friendship. While Josie gets her wish and ends up with her crush Isabel, PJ does not, but PJ does kind of find this budding romance with Hazel, which I am dead convinced, I swear to God, they get together after that movie. That is the hill that I will die on. But throughout the middle part of the film, neither of them are that discouraged by the fact that they're not really making much progress with their crushes. They're actually so involved with the club and so like swept up in it that they start to kind of forget about the initial creation of the club. The desire to get laid fizzled out and the desire to make friendships grew. And although, in some capacity, as I said, they both got their wish at the end, none of that would have happened without the continued support of the club and its existence as a COP. Ending notes: movie's great. Watch it again if you haven't watched it in a while. It's really funny. It does hold up. I mean, all of the 1 year it's been released, so I don't know how much I can say that. Yeah, I don't know, maybe rewatch it with this lens. Watch it, think about Laven Wegner, think about COPs. Try a new perspective.